If the executor or the trustee just goes ahead and follows that, they may be violating the law. Hi, this is Jeff Marsacci, the Plain English Attorney, and welcome to the video. Before we dig into today's topic, please help us get out solid, accurate information on estate planning and Medicaid planning by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Unfortunately, the algorithms just tend to favor videos that tell people what they want to hear instead of what is actually true. If you want us to get the truth out there about estate and Medicaid planning information, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Today, we are going to talk about 3 massive myths of estate planning that are so out there. It just shows there's just a huge lack of education around doing estate planning the right way. Part of what we do in our education process when our clients come in, we have a short book to read. It's only about 60, 70 pages in plain English that goes over a lot of the basics about estate planning. What's the difference between a will and a trust? What are the big questions that you really need to consider? What are the different positions in documents? What do they do? So it gives a good overview of the very basics of estate planning so that by the time my clients are meeting with us, we are jumping right into what their goals are so we can accomplish what they want to accomplish. So the fact that I sometimes get clients and start talking with them, and it's gone through another professional who is supposed to be educated about estate planning and have at least a similar process. Here, let me guide you through some of the basics. When I see these things, it's just kind of a huge red flag. And it's almost like, yep, we got to go right back to the drawing board. Not only are they not on the same page, they're not even reading the same book. So what exactly are these 3 big, massive failures? Well, the first one is believing that a last will and testament avoids probate. It doesn't. A last will and testament is your writing, basically your instructions to the probate court. Hey, whatever ends up in probate judge, here's where I want everything to go. And now there's this huge, massive paperwork set up system so that every single penny that's in the estate comes into the estate, goes out of the estate, has copies of canceled checks and all these invoices and all of this stuff. And it just becomes this huge, massive paperwork mill to make sure that every single penny is accounted for the right way, to the point where it's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's frustrating for the person that you've named as the executor. So a will doesn't avoid probate. It's actually your ticket to probate. If you think it's important for educational videos like this to get out there, then please help us out by subscribing to the channel. So when I hear, oh yeah, I'll do a will so everything will avoid probate. I know, nope. Zero education, need to get them right back to basics. And if they said, oh, we read your book through your free trust course, and again, I'll give a plug for that. It's freetrustcourse.com. Get some basics there, including my book in 3 different digital formats, Estate Planning Basics, that runs you through all of that. Again, freetrustcourse.com. If they say, yeah, let's do a will so it avoids probate, I know they didn't even bother to go into it. So that is one of the hugest, massive myths that is out there, that having a will means you avoid probate. What is the second one? Thinking that it's a good idea to just leave everything to one child and then they'll go ahead and be fair in distributing everything to everyone else. God, in addition to just being completely delulu and not realizing what happens is part of human nature in the estate planning process, that is just a massively bad estate idea for the person you're leaving everything to. So again, first thing, it just never goes smoothly. Second thing, if they're taking their responsibility as seriously as they should, they're receiving all of this stuff, they're the beneficiary. There's no income tax, there's no gift tax. It's the person who passed on. If they have an estate tax, which means in this current year, more than $13.99 million federally, whatever your state is, whatever, but that's fine. That's not gift taxable. But now they receive everything. And let's just say, oh, yeah, we trust you to take care of your brother and sister the right way. All right, well, now they have limitations on annual gifting to the brother and sister. So it's like, yeah, they're each supposed to get $500,000 and you're limited to, what is it, like $18,000 or $19,000 per year. That's a huge problem. And if they give more, now they've got to fill out gift tax forms on their own. So the other thing is, if they're like inheriting money from an IRA, then that money is income taxable to them and not to the others. So yeah, you're giving a huge problem to the person that you're having everything go to, a problem for them. And then the other thing, I mentioned this in a couple of different blogs and videos and other places. What if your child dies before they've given everything out over the years? Let's just say they pass on 3 years after you do, and they're on this schedule over the next 20 years to give everything because of the gift tax limitations. And their estate plan gave everything to their spouse. Is their spouse going to give everything to the siblings the way you're supposed to? If they're coming up with expenses for the kids and the grandkids, and well, wait, we want to put money away for college for, kids or grandkids and whatnot. Well, I talked with my lawyer. I don't have to give that to anybody. So yeah, it is just a massively bad idea. Time to go back to the drawing board and really get some good education. Third thing, and stick around because there's going to be a bonus. Third thing, if they have in their head that you have to be an executor or a trustee in order to be a beneficiary, that's a just total disconnect because they are two completely separate things. An executor is who handles the probate process, if anything's in probate. If you're using a revocable living trust, which is definitely something to look into, again, freetrustcourse.com. The trustee is who makes sure everybody gets what they're supposed to get, handles your final bills and everything. All right. Oh, we got to make the trustee the same as the beneficiary, and I want my 3 kids to be the beneficiaries. Therefore, they have to be the 3 trustees. And if one of them can't be a trustee, they can't be a beneficiary. No, totally separate jobs. So in these elements, in fact, even in that free trust course that I mentioned, I've got the big 4 questions. The first is, who do you trust to handle financial things? Second, who do you trust to handle healthcare issues for you if you can't? Third, who gets what, when do they get it, and how? And fourth is just about guardianship for minor kids. Again, totally separate questions. You can have a trustee that isn't a beneficiary at all. They're just getting the job of making sure that everybody does get what they are supposed to get. So what is this bonus one? Believe it or not, I still hear this all the time, and this is one of the weirdest things that you actually think is going to work. Oh, I've got all this furniture and this jewelry and this other stuff. I'm just going to put masking tape on it with people's names on it, and then that's where it'll go. No, it won't. And in fact, if the executor or the trustee just goes ahead and follows that, they may be violating the law. Well, how are they violating the law? If you're doing a revocable living trust the right way, all of this personal stuff ends up inside the trust. And therefore, if the trust says, well, I've got 3 kids, I need everything divided equally among the 3 of them, but you put masking tape, I've got this niece that gets this $10,000 piece of jewelry, and they go, oh, here you go. They've just taken $10,000 away from the actual beneficiaries, and now they've violated their fiduciary duty as a trustee. This could be a criminal act, and certainly it could be a civil action where they're going to try to get the $10,000 from the trustee. Don't do it that way. If it's important enough, put it in the trust, or the way we handle it, we have a personal property memorandum where everything is written out, signed and dated as a schedule for the trust to make sure that it happens. Or if you're going to do it through the will and in probate, if that's the plan that works for you, fine. Put those things in the will itself. If you're just thinking you can put masking tape with people's names on stuff, time to get back to the drawing board. Now, that was the bonus one. So those are three of the biggest, massive myths in estate planning that are out there. What are some things that you've heard? If you have heard some things and it just doesn't sound right, please go ahead and put it into the comments, and we'll go ahead and take a look at it. Maybe we'll do another follow-up for more massive myths in estate planning. And please, again, if you want some more information, get that free information at freetrustcourse.com. And as I always tell my clients, please stay safe, plan ahead, and enjoy life. And whatever you do, make it a great day.